commonly used slide is, it's an over-communicated society. And, if you were to look at clusters in the regional markets, the language isolatable markets, on radio, there is a proliferation of options and channels, but the rates are not heading south. It's not as if there is discounting or heavy subsidy. And therefore, people are holding on in the aspiration that, the market will grow and therefore everybody will have enough on the plate. Consumers are being bombarded. And in such times, they will usually look for the cleanest, simplest, most recallable brand. And so brands who have a natural advantage are already established in the market. If they can somehow morph onto the e-commerce domain, they naturally have an advantage. It's like passing through duty-free and seeing more number of brands of foreign alcohol than you've ever seen in your life, certainly more than your friendly neighborhood store. And then 9 out of 10 will go and buy Johnnie Walker Black Label or Johnnie Walker Red Label. But they'll ask everything, what is this, what is that? And then when it comes to the time to board their flight, they will, like a homing pigeon, they'll go straight, pick up those 2 bottles. Or maybe they'll compare between Chivas Regal and Johnnie Walker and say, oh, they're giving us trolley bag free, okay, I'll take Johnnie Walker. So what does it tell you? It tells you that explosion of choice and navigating choices does not necessarily mean that it will be reduced to newer things to do. It may still be very conventional choices, and therefore brands which are equipped in the right way for internet and for e-commerce have a natural advantage. And so therefore our mandate is that the brand is a prime asset. We have to keep on embellishing its equity and make it more things to more people. And how do we get there? We obviously get there by reaching the consumers through relevant channels and through continuous engagement. So broadly, if you look at purely from an e-commerce and an internet point of view, the interesting consumer is the social consumer, and many of the earlier speakers have touched upon what she does. But actually, the real India is the evolving consumer. So it's the emerging middle class, women, people who are making genuine brand choices for the first time. And what I mean by genuine brand choices are they're exploring and comparing for all the reasons that they know, or for all the reasons that they can think of. So as Manisha was saying earlier, if I was selling detergent, I could make a cheap sachet of a very expensive powder for that favorite office shirt of my husband. So on important days like interviews and promotional discussions, she'd wash it lovingly in that very expensive powder, but small sachet. Otherwise, it was only a question of whatever is available or whatever is a rupee cheaper. But today's evolving consumer, particularly the way in which the search stream happens, are looking for reasons why, and I'll come to that in a second. And so at this stage, it's good to stop and say what are the marketing gaps as we see them. And in my opinion, on the internet and where e-commerce is concerned, there's inconsistent communication. There's a lot of opportunism. There's also a lot of self-delusion. People believe that of their 6 crore budget, they put 22 lakh rupees on digital, and that allows them to participate in seminars, etc. And they believe they're fully digital now. I also put 2 banner ads, and it was for 2.5 months, and I'm digital. But that's not what the consumer sees. Or they look at the clutter on the internet because it's a more compressed real estate, and as you get onto mobility, it's going to become more and more compressed because there are crores of consumers in the next 5 years who will experience the internet for the first time on their mobile handset. And that experience is going to be very different from seeing it on a desktop or on a laptop. So there is inconsistent communication. People are listening, but they're not acting on what they're being told, which results in a fragmented consumer experience. You will not get to see consistently the same kind of things, or the same kind of messaging, or the same benefits from the same player on the same internet property 2 months running. It will change because it's fashionable, and you know what, if you make major mistakes, it's not going to cost you your job. So it's a lot of experimentation happening there, which is not a bad thing, but it's not building strength behind brands. And there's still too much selling. So on the banner that looks good, there is one purple circle which is saying 5% off, 5% off. And it will give you retinal blindness if you don't go and click on it because it keeps flashing in your... So there's too much of targeting, too much of offers, too much of... and limited transparency. The moment you click on it, it comes up with a blizzard of 6 asterisks saying this conditions apply only if you are in Greater Gurgaon, jurisdiction only of Delhi. And then you say, oh, I thought I had won $1 million. But so therefore these are the gaps which we must address. And at the same time, people think somehow internet people are new people. So, all the old rules that we learned as marketers of segmentation, they simply don't apply. These are just some new hybrid kind of people who have jumped in from a boat from somewhere. But the fact is that if you isolate it, as Manisha was saying, one of the advantages in our business is, we are in a position to paint a vivid portrait because everybody who's using a card is transacting on VisaNet, for instance. So we know the quantum of spend, e-commerce versus non-e-commerce, face-to-face versus card not present, and so on. And we see that if you were to segment the population on the internet, it is in a sense, in many ways, a miniature of what they're doing in real life. In some areas, they may be more accelerated behavior, but they're the same people because, they are Indians as you know them. And so therefore, even when you're doing something in the e-commerce domain, it's critical to keep an eye on the lifetime value of that consumer that you acquire, because they may not do things as you intend them to, but they may come back 2 years later and with gusto get onto your bandwagon and become a willing consumer. So you have to be persistent and at the same time reward the most valuable consumer. That's also not happening enough. So just to spend a second, I think these are figures, plus minus 5 million, everybody knows of these figures. So there are, at last count, about 100 to 120 million internet users in the country. They're spending an incredible amount of time online. They are mostly young, very well educated, and the great thing is the bulk of them live outside the top 8 metros. And if you look at that sliding scale on the bottom, it tells you how many times were you influenced to make a choice of something that you bought based on a recommendation that you saw on social media. So the believability quotient in India is very high amongst consumers because they feel every element of opinion or criticism or sharing or recommendation on the internet is a word of relevant mouth. So it's like if I went to X college and you went to X college, I have a sense of camaraderie. I believe we are together. And so while it is a small minority, there is a sense of belongingness. And so if somebody gets to hear that I stayed in XYZ hotel and there were bed bugs, I don't care whether I know that person or not. I don't want to sleep in that bed and discover that he was right. So the believability quotient is very high. New hybrids are happening, and one of them clearly is that the computer is becoming the new TV. So India is still predominantly a one screen household, but what's happening interestingly is how many screens are you perusing content on? So there is a BlackBerry on, the wife sitting on the dining table seeing the iPad, and the kid is watching cartoons on the TV, and your maid gets pissed because she missed this episode of Lado. So at 11:30 at night, my wife is loading Lado on to show her so that she cooks breakfast the next day. So while it's a single screen environment, there are lots of video queries and people are cross-referencing, and that's happening at an accelerated pace. Shopping seems to be the manifest face of the internet revolution, but apparently it's still a small animal when compared to people's use of internet in their work lives, and particularly for information and what they call the social space of making friends. So no matter how you cut the data, India is a top 5 market. Facebook users here are more than the subscribers or the readership of Times of India, or more than the population of Australia. My last boss in Visa was Australian, and I had to be careful about putting this chart up. Our consumer is also online all the time. So one of the other things that's happening is it's not governed behavior. There is no prime time on the internet. And that's going to change a lot of the media planning rules that we lived with conventionally were taught. There is no premium and there is no discounted time. Every time that I am in front of the internet screen, I am there out of interest and it's my time. And a famous internet theorist, Clay Shirky, said, a revolution doesn't happen simply because society has new tools. A revolution happens when society adopts new behaviors, and the only telltale sign that I can think of is how much time they're spending, and they're spending incredibly long hours. And then this is a fairly busy chart, but what it's telling you is if you were to track their journey through the day, everybody gets up in the morning, goes to work, checks their email, they get into their personal domain, so they update their Facebook, or they go back and check whatever social sites they're on, and then they transact. They check their e-banking account, they go to Google News, do what they like, and at the end of the day, they repeat that behavior by going up and updating their social media sites, sending an email and closing the day. Most of the advertising tends to happen in the public domain because it's a challenge for marketers to have involving enough content for people to give them importance and invite them into their lives in the personal domain. But as it becomes more and more important, advertising money will start going from the public domain into the private domain, and we are seeing evidence of that as well. So naturally, we have to be about talkability, about virality, and word of relevant mouth. I've already spoken of this. Indians are probably the most believing community of internet users in the world. Anybody tells them anything, it becomes believable. Video is becoming mainstream online. It's going to have a profound impact on the way in which people transact online, because right now TV has believability. So a lot of e-tailers are advertising on TV because they want people to believe, oh, if it's a brand that I saw an ad of on TV, must be a big brand. But tomorrow, when the transactions are happening, as Manisha was saying, one click away from unlike and discarding you and not being of use in their lives, then you have to pop up, whether it's video or any other ways of engagement online, and that's happening as well. Mobility, of course, in a country like India, everybody has many SIMs in their lives. So I got a maid servant, and I was dutifully dispatched to pick her up at 5:30 in the morning in Bombay Central Station, and she got off, and it's not even sunrise, and I'm trying to struggle to find a taxi, and she says, she's Bengali, so she asked me in Bangla, where will I get a SIM? So maybe 17 minutes after exiting the train, she wanted a new SIM card. So mobility has the power to be transformative, and I don't want to get into payments jargon here, but there are two trends. One is large communities, for instance, people like Airtel who have 16, 18 million subscribers. They're getting into a closed loop phenomenon all of your own, so they're providing you ways to pay, and that's good enough because everybody is also equipped with, let's say, an Airtel Money. And then there is the interoperable, standards-free, handset agnostic systems which are being thrown out at you. And very soon, when you lose your cell phone, you're not going to be unhappy about the fact that you've lost your contacts. It will be a deeper pain than that, because almost every way in which you're transacting is also going to be triggered, possibly by the phone. So I'm actually quite happy if Visa is no longer in the cards business, provided we can wholesale transition into new things like mobility and e-commerce payments, and that's Visa as well. So we have to forget interruptions and think engagement. I wanted to spend a second on global versus local, because the internet is also distance agnostic. So when you click in, you can go to Norway, you can go to Denmark, and a lot of what is happening there is not relevant in your lives. So brands which are global brands or brands which are big Indian brands have a challenge of trying to be in the midpoint between hopelessly global and mindlessly local, because that's when you will appeal to the unique Eastern-Western kind of consumer that's shaping out in India. Reapply first, adapt to an extent possible, and then create in that order. Unfortunately, because we all want to make our careers, most of the journey happens in the other direction. People try to create first, then if it's not working, they try to adapt something, and reapplication is boring because somebody's already done it. We'll have to think audience first, and I spoke about it. Media planning will come first, and then will come creative development. And the traditional model was creative development first, and then where do we send this message out? We will need to innovate. It has to be two-way. Too much of our e-commerce marketing is happening in plain vanilla banners, and that needs to change. Too much of it is happening in emailing, in HTMLs, and that's not being looked at all. Proprietary channels are interesting, provided people can transact there as well. Nobody is going to go and check information on one channel, come out of it and say, now I'm convinced I will go and transact somewhere else. So as long as we have transactable hybrids, that's going to be interesting, and consistent branding. So it's not only about branches. The place where branding goes most horribly wrong very often is on the internet, because the clutter is bigger and people are clicking through in different ways. So we have to be consistent in our branding as well. I think we spoke about that already. This is interesting. So the traditional model was people want to buy a car. They think of many car brands. They ask a few people. Some Mosa or Fufa is more intelligent about cars, so he gives them 2 or 3 recommendations. Now they're down to 4 brands. And then people have paid, in their journey of evaluating their options, people have paid to buy content which triggers off the right thinking at the right time, and finally they decide, I want to buy Model X. Well, that's changing, because paid is competing with shared, is competing with owned, and there are infinite number of loops. So,